Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to DSP Sports. I'm here. I didn't think I would be. I thought I'd be too sick. I thought I'd have to have a fill-in. But I know someone who does not need a fill-in because he is not miserable, and that is David Beard. How you doing today?
Don, it's great to be with you on this cold, icy, chilly Midwestern night.
I know. It's like we live in a state that experiences winter. I mean, what's the deal with that?
Yeah, growing up in Southern California, it definitely takes some getting used to.
Well, I've lived here and in Massachusetts and in North Carolina, and out of those three places, not a single one of them is spared from the pains of winter. While North Carolina is a little bit tamer than Massachusetts and Missouri. I do know that even though I do have a bit of a cold, I have installed virus protection on my computer so that you or none of the listeners will get it.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Now, let's go straight today to the NBA. Let's go straight to the NBA standings. We want to go by division here because that will prove my point even better than going by conference. If you go by division in the NBA, Boston is in first place. Chicago is in first place. Utah is in first place. The LA Lakers and San Antonio is in first place. The only team other than those teams that happens to be in first place right now is the
Miami Heat.
Miami Heat with an 18-8 record since we talked about them last. It says they've been on a 9-game winning streak. It's been 7 or 8 games since we first talked about the Miami Heat on this show, and they have not lost since.
No, and Cleveland has not won since. So I think we jinxed Cleveland that night because I was rooting for them.
I know. The interesting thing here is that the Boston Celtics right now have the second best record in the NBA, 19-4. Now, the San Antonio Spurs, if I'm correct in their name, has a 20-3 record. Both of those teams have a better record than the Miami Heat right now. If all of those teams fail to lose a single game for the rest of the season, we will be watching an NBA season of historical proportions.
That would be awesome, but I think the problem is they're going to play each other too many times.
You can let that get in the way if you want to, but I'm not going to let that get in the way. I'm going to hold my breath on that one.
All I know is I am not going to talk any crap about LeBron James anytime soon because that really backfired on him.
Well, I'm going to stick to my guns, and I see a 6-game losing streak coming up very soon. If not a 6-game losing streak, then a 1-game losing streak, followed by another winning streak, a 2-game losing streak, followed by another winning streak, and another 1-game losing streak. I notice how I'm calling 1-game losses a streak just for the sake of making it sound like they're going to be losers because I really want this team to fail. I'm just going to come out there and say that right out in the open.
Well, how could you not? I mean, how could you not as a person that is not a LeBron James fan or a Heat fan? That is, to me, like people who don't like the Lakers. You don't like, the team that's winning or the team that's got all the good players. So, yeah, they put together a mini dream team. So they think they're the best, and of course you're going to hope they lose. Well, I am anyway.
Well, the only thing that's important to me is Boston at 19-4, and I imagine the only thing that's really important to you is the LA Lakers at 18-7.
That's correct.
And that is what is soon to be, I'm sure, award-winning coverage of the NBA. The next thing that I'd like to talk about is Brett Favre. Brett Favre streak has ended.
297 games. Wow. Did you happen to see what I put on Facebook the other night about this, Don?
I did see something, and I think I commented on him and said that that the texting thing is going to come into light now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also saw what you had on Twitter at DSP Sports, And I thought, so yeah, you were very nice to him on Twitter.
To Brett Favre.
Yeah, you said it was a hell of a run. You said
it was a hell of a run. I mean, the guy. I can't tell you about the guy personally text messaging his what, but I mean to actually start 297 games. I mean, think about it, Don. I was in high school. I mean, George Bush was president, the first one. So I mean, a lot of stuff has gone on in the world while he's been playing football.
I know, and here's the crazy thing. Not only did Brett Favre's consecutive game streak end on this last Monday night, but the Metrodome's consecutive home game streak ended that night.
The dome collapsed. You know that this Monday, Don, that the Vikings are playing the Bears outdoors in the University of Minnesota's Gophers football stadium at like negative some degree.
I know, it's going to be wild. It's going to be wild.
I can't wait.
It's going to be a crappy NFL team, according to a lot of the people that I've read from today, playing another crappy NFL team. Only one crappy NFL team will be in their element, and the other one won't. But the fact remains...
Here's the funny thing, though. The crappier NFL team is probably the Vikings right now, and if Favre doesn't play, to be honest, I don't think they're going to win. Favre isn't that great, but we saw what Jackson could do, and he was horrible. So, and you got the Packers going into New England. I mean, that's pretty much a gimme for New England. So if the Bears beat Minnesota on Monday night, guess what happens?
What happens?
The Bears go to the playoffs.
Well, there you go. And that's the one thing that I've been thinking about. A lot of people online have been calling the Bears a crappy team. And apparently they've managed to put some wins on the board. David, is it just because they're playing so many more crappier teams?
Well, I think you mean the Bears? I think the Bears have an easier schedule than the. Well, they shot themselves in the foot. The Packers, they lost to Detroit last week. Even with a backup quarterback, they should have beat Detroit.
Yeah.
The Bears do have an easier schedule because they finished behind the Packers last year, and schedules are made according to what place you finish in your division. That's why you see the Rams, the Chiefs. A lot of these teams have made improvements now on top of their divisions because they had easier schedules from the year before. But I think the Bears have honestly played more consistent football. They've surprised me this year, and they've beaten some teams I didn't think they would. So, if anything, they probably deserve to win it. I don't think they're going to, I don't think they're going to make the Super Bowl, obviously, but that's what I think.
Well, now let's take it briefly to the Rams versus New Orleans. Sam Bradford.
Do we have to?
Yes, we do. Just briefly, Sam Bradford went out, and it appears to me that he didn't do anything less than his best. He didn't seem to get emotional. He didn't seem to let it get the worst of him. He made some rookie mistakes, but I'm telling you, I think that his head was in the game, and that speaks a lot for him.
Well, I'm glad he did a great job not getting emotional, but he didn't do a good job keeping me sane. Let me tell you that much.
Well, when an interception's thrown and a guy runs from the negative 47-yard line all the way to the positive 300-yard line and scores himself a touchdown, I have to think that there's more of an error there and more of a mistake there than just the quarterback throwing an interception.
No, and to be honest, you got to appreciate the confidence that guy had. But that was the game changer. I mean, you were looking at going into halftime 14-13 and, a whole new ball game, and then all of a sudden it's 21-7, and or 21-6 at the second half, and now you're not even playing competitive football anymore. So that one play changed it all.
One of the current big dogs of the NFL slap the up and coming puppy down and put him in his place. But I still see good things from the Rams heading into the rest of the season.
Agreed.
All right. Speaking of dogs and puppies, Michael Vick wants a puppy dog for his little daughter. Do you think
is that what he wants it for his little daughter?
Well, he said he'd like to own a dog, and primarily because his daughter wants a dog, and he's ashamed, rightfully so, of the fact that she can't have a dog because of his past actions.
Why? Because, okay, Don, I've been on board with him coming back. The guy served a year. He probably served more time than he needed to. But, I mean, come on, this guy put a gun to dogs' heads, multiple dogs, and brutally shot them dead. And now we're supposed to just, I know he'd probably be a fine pet owner, and trust me, he would be because he doesn't go back to jail. But, I mean, I just think if you shoot somebody, if you shoot a person, you should never be allowed to be around a person again. You should be in prison. And if you shoot a dog, you should never be allowed to own a dog again. I just think it's that easy.
Well, there you go. That is certainly a valid opinion, and it sounds reasonable and rational. But people do apparently get reformed and are reintroduced back in society, even after killing. And,
wow. Well, see, hey, and I disagree with that too.
And you're probably right. But if it happens with people, I think that it's somewhat less dangerous if it happens with a dog. I think the man should be allowed to own a pet, but he should have to do it whilst and at the same time starring in his own reality show, so we can all watch to make sure that he's treating that pet well.
Why can't he just get a cat? I mean, why does he have to get a dog? Is it just so that he could? I mean...
Well, if it's really for his daughter, then I understand a little bit. But ultimately, the man doesn't get much of my sympathy. I'm glad he's doing well, and I'm glad that his career's rebounding. But when it comes to...
He's done a good job, and I think, honestly, he's handled himself well in the interviews, and you can tell the guy's really remorseful. So, but for me, there's a line there with the dog.
The New England Patriots look like they could possibly be at the Super Bowl this year, the way they're playing right now. I know you don't like them. I know you don't love them, but just admit it's true.
I don't even like them.
I know. I know you don't. I said I know you don't like them, and I know you don't love it, but just admit it's true.
I'll admit this. They are, as of right now, record-wise and ability-wise, they are proving to right now be the best team in the NFL. But there's a lot of football left.
There is a lot of football left. I agree 100%. There is a lot of football left. Now, we've got baseball, and the New York Yankees are in the news in the offseason. Tell me, what is going on here?
So, the evil umpire, for the first time in which I can remember, the mighty Casey struck out. The Yankees did not get their man. They went after Cliff Lee of the Rangers, and this guy was offered everything. He was even offered an option, a player's option for a 7th year. And this guy is like in his mid-30s. And this is in the Major League Baseball. It's guaranteed money. He was offered almost $150 million or something like this. This is estimated numbers. Guaranteed money to go to the New York Yankees. He took a 5-year contract and basically just turned down $40 extra million because he didn't want to go there. His wife doesn't like New York because she was treated bad in the stands during the playoffs, and he wanted to go back to a team that he loved and he had a great time with, and that was the Phillies. So he went back to the Phillies, and then he turned the Yankees down, which is something that never happens these days. So I loved it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here on DSP Sports. We've covered basketball, we've covered football, and we've covered baseball, all in the same 15-minute show. If there's something that you want to hear on DSP Sports, a team you want highlighted, let us know here at DSP Sports on YouTube. David, you have a great week. And
Don, I look forward to talking with you next week from beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada.
Viva Las Vegas. This is DSP Sports.